Good morning, all. We're going to give everybody a chance to be admitted into the meeting, and then we will get started. Good morning, everyone, and thank you for joining us today. My name is Stacy Paisno. I'm the lead project manager with the Water Supply Bureau. Today is the first of two informational Zoom webinars on the FY26 EP AWS Water Supply Program. The webinar is being recorded, and there will be a link to our YouTube channel recording after this webinar is complete. Upon completion of all of our presentations, we'll have further instructions on how to provide comments or questions. Governor DeSantis signed an executive order for Achieving Even More Now for Florida, which requests recurring funding for alternative water supply development projects statewide. The governor and the legislature have recognized the importance of these projects and the protection of Florida's natural systems. And over the past 5 legislative sessions have approved $310 million statewide. During last May's governing board meeting, the FY25 project list was approved and forwarded to DEP for consideration. That list is posted on our website. We haven't been notified about those allocations, but we're hoping to hear something in the near future. On our website, you'll find the guidelines, the applications, our program contacts, example applications, and new this year is some video tutorials on how to complete the applications. There is an acknowledgement form that has to be completed and attached as a signed PDF file on the entity's letterhead by an authorized representative. And what we mean by authorized representative is it needs to be somebody who has signature authority to enter into a contract on behalf of that organization. At the November governing board meeting last year, I presented a tentative schedule. We released our application on December 2nd. As I mentioned earlier, this is the first of 2 Zoom informational webinars. The second one will be held on January 30th, and we'll be presenting the exact same information. The application will close on February 26th at 4 p.m. sharp. Please do not wait until 3:59 to upload your applications. It's an automatic portal. It shuts down at 4 o'clock. After the portal closes, we will be doing internal staff review during March and April. And at the May governing board, I would be presenting the project list for governing board approval and submittal of that list to DEP by the end of May. People always ask us who can apply. Pretty much anyone. If you use water, you may apply. Project eligibility. You have have to adhere to all application instructions, laws, and regulations. If you're a local government, you must have an adopted ordinance that comports with the district's year-round irrigation rule to be eligible, as well as having an approved water supply facilities work plan for statute to be eligible for funding consideration. If you're an individual homeowner, you're ineligible to apply for funding. And if you're a permittee that is out of compliance with district or DP issued permits, you are also ineligible for funding consideration. This is a reimbursement program. No one is guaranteed to receive up to the full 50% funding. Applicants are responsible to move forward with a project with or without district funding. Anticipated dates are the district's fiscal year. For this one, these dates are subject to change, but in the guidelines, we have October 1st of 2025 through September 30th of 2027. The dates are subject to change, as I said, based on legislative appropriations and any agreements between DP and the district. We have provided these start dates and end dates to help applicants determine if you should be submitting a project application. Allowable costs are costs that are towards the projects which is identified in your application, and for construction and or implementation cost within the anticipated funding time frame. Some non-allowable costs include, but are not limited to, any expenses incurred before or after the funding period, anything that is a pilot program, permitting, design, operations, and maintenance. If you're out of permit compliance, if you have an educational program, or any in-kind services. The funding is available for two different project types. The first is alternative water supply, and those are to increase water supplies through the development of non-traditional water sources and or storage to meet existing and future needs. Robert will be discussing this specific project type in a few slides. And water conservation is any project that uses hardware or technology to increase water use efficiency, and Adele will be discussing those later on in the presentation. As part of this, DEP has provided an AWS guidance document for the districts, and we have to provide a prioritized list of projects based on some of the following. Projects should have regional benefits if it supports an MFL water body. Any additional benefits such as water quality, flood control. Projects need to be shovel ready and have undergone a cost benefit analysis. Historically, the program governing board priorities have considered applicants must be within the district boundaries or provide benefits to our district. It has to be AWS or conservation. Projects must have construction or implementation costs. Again, no operations and maintenance, design, engineering, permitting, or pilot projects. Projects should support the district's mission or an approved water supply plan. We also look at things such as a restricted allocation area, and local governments must have that approved irrigation ordinance and an approved water supply facilities work plan. During November of 22, the governing board approved an eligibility requirement for the water supply facilities work plan. And then in last November, we updated the eligibility requirement for the water supply facilities work plan. So if you have any questions about that, please let us know. Neither one of these last items applies to private entities. Those are specific to local governments. And now I will turn it over to Robert to discuss AWS.
Thank you, Stacy. The AWS portion of the cooperative funding program covers projects that increase water supplies through the development of non-traditional sources. And these non-traditional sources include salt water and brackish water, reclaimed water, reuse water, surface or storm water captured that can include tailwater recovery. The program also covers new storage capacity for the non-traditional sources and any other source that's designated as non-traditional in a regional water supply plan. It's important to note that these all pertain to increasing the capacity, the water supply capacity, not operations and maintenance projects. Those are not covered by this program. Okay. Looking beyond whether the project actually increases water supplies, the reviewers look at a few other things, and Stacy did kind of touch on some of these, but the additional considerations for this program include whether or not the project supports the goals and objectives that are listed in our or presented in our regional water supply plan, whether the project reduces dependence on traditional water sources, whether the project supports ocean outfall legislation. That's typically located in the lower East Coast, but it is one of the things that we will look at. And whether the project contributes to alternative water supply development in a resource limited area. This program covers mainly or primarily construction costs. Now, within the framework of construction costs, these are the typical construction costs that are covered by the AWS portion of this program. And they include raw water transmission lines, reclaimed water storage tanks, pump stations, distribution mains, RO trains, pumps, and the associated appurtenances, surface and stormwater storage, aquifer storage and recovery wells are covered, brackish water production wells, and disposal wells that are in association with an AWS or alternative water supply source are also covered. The items on this slide show the non-allowable or non-applicable alternative water supply costs. These are not covered by the program. And they include the design, permit, and as-built, anything like that, operations and maintenance, those types of things. These are, again, just to help define, these are the non-construction related costs. But again, now these next few may be associated with construction, but they're not tied to alternative water supply. Those include finished water supply tanks or transmission lines, end user supply line connections, backup generators, and replacement landscaping or concrete pads, protective coverings, and things like that. One item to note that this is especially for those who have participated in this program in the past. You'll notice that the FY26 application is now in an Excel format. Previously, it was in Microsoft Word, and Excel format is the only format that will be admissible for this year's consideration. The format has changed, but the questions are 99% the same. We might have added, I think we added 4 questions perhaps, but generally speaking, the application has the same content as what was in previous years. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to my colleague, Adele Pena. She's going to walk you through the water conservation portion of this program.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Adele. I'm the water conservation analyst. And so cooperative funding program for water conservation aims to support projects that improve water use efficiency and conservation within the district. Entities that are eligible to apply may be an HOA, a business, a utility, an agricultural producer. And some of the types of projects that we have funded in the past include high efficiency indoor fixtures, appliance retrofits, automatic hydrant flushing devices, and irrigation retrofits, including those for ag as well. We have also completed industrial and commercial projects such as cooling tower retrofits. The project can also be in the form of a rebate program. Usually you have a managing entity like a utility or local government who then will process the rebate to their customer. So when you submit your application and we are reviewing, there's several elements that we are looking at. So we are considering the water source that is being conserved or protected. We're looking at the quantity of water that's saved. We want to see a good amount of detail in your application. And we want to see what the overall environmental benefits are, as well as benefits to the local community. One key component is cost effectiveness, measured by the cost to save 1,000 gallons of water. So in order to maximize funding efficiency, projects should aim to have a cost effectiveness that is less than or equal to $6 per kgal in order to qualify for funding. So water conservation projects are broadly categorized into either urban or agricultural. So for urban projects, we may have either indoor projects or outdoor, indoor being related to water using appliances or fixtures. For outdoor projects, these mainly relate to irrigation upgrades and precision irrigation technology. We're also open to projects for new construction if the builder is working towards certification with Florida Water Star. So to learn more about that program, please visit their website at floridawaterstar.com. Some additional urban projects that we may fund as well is installation of sub-meters, cooling tower efficiency upgrades, any kind of advanced analytics software or online customer portals. There's a lot of utilities using these nowadays. And we are also open to other projects that are not necessarily listed here, but you want to check with us first before you start your application. So urban projects that we do not fund include indoor fixtures for new construction, again, unless they're part of Florida Water Star, any kind of automatic meter reading or infrastructure, and anything basically related to maintenance. We do not cover waterless urinals and new installation of new irrigation systems or replacement landscaping. So the other type of projects that we fund are agricultural projects. So these are generally going to be either irrigation conversions, so you're going from less efficient to more efficient. So you're going from flood or furrow to drip, sprinkler to micro, and so on. And we also do precision ag, so moisture probes, weather stations with telemetry. If you are converting your sprinkler heads, they should be more efficient heads. We do pump automation, VFD retrofits, flow meters. And again, we may be open to other things as well that are not necessarily listed here. So projects that we do not fund include installation of completely new irrigation systems, since we mainly are going to do retrofits, any kind of water control structure. We do not fund any kind of nutrient management equipment, pump replacement, grease frost protection materials, tailwater recovery systems, or any kind of reservoirs for water retention. And so that concludes my overview of the CFP program for water conservation. With that, I'll hand the presentation back to Stacy.
Thank you both. So I'm just going to do a quick overview of the changes to the CFP website this year. So if you go to our main sfwmd.gov website, you go under doing business with us, and you select grants and funding opportunities, you're going to come to all of our information regarding cooperative funding. So at first, it just tells you kind of an overview of the application period. And then as you scroll down, you're going to see the schedule that was presented earlier in this presentation, where we have everything outlined. If you know other people who want to attend the webinar, feel free to share this, or they can watch this recording on our YouTube channel later today. As you scroll down, you'll see a little, at the bottom of this screenshot is the online submission portal hyperlink. So once you've downloaded and completed your applications and you've reviewed any of the examples and the tutorials, you have your application, your acknowledgement form, and any other documents that you would like to upload, you're going to click on the online submission portal. But right underneath that hyperlink is the list of documents, which is our guidelines, the applications, the acknowledgements forms. At a minimum, you're required to upload the Excel versions of the application, whether you're applying for AWS or conservation, as well as that acknowledgement form that has been signed by an authorized representative and PDF'd and uploaded. Those are the two minimum submissions you must do. New this year is we decided to do video tutorials for each of the water conservation applications and the AWS applications, since we have changed and moved that from a Word format to an Excel format. And then we have example applications for both AWS and water conservation, depending on the project type. If you're running into any issues, you can reach out to the three of us for specific questions that we will help you with. I would like to caution everyone that we do not pre-review any applications. So please do not send them via email. Also, your submissions must be through the online submission portal. We do not accept applications via email. So once you're ready and you have all your documents, you're going to fill out the online submission form. So once you click on that online submission portal, it's going to open a new tab and you're going to complete this information. Couple things is we need the entity's contact information or whoever the project manager is. So if you're putting the utility director down and I have an issue with the application and I try and call and get information from the utility director, I might not get what I need in a timely manner to turn it over to my internal review team. So please make sure you're filling out this information correctly. We do require you input your latitude and longitude in decimal degree format. And if you're a small HOA condo and you're not sure what that is, all you have to do on the online submission portal is we have a little hyperlink that says click here and you can enter your address and it will populate the decimal degrees for your latitude and longitude for submission. You do have to click whether you're submitting an AWS or a water conservation project. And then you will upload your documents one file at a time. There is a size restriction. So if you are trying to upload too many files or too large of files, it's going to kick you out. We have the little captcha to say that you're not a robot. Then you'll be able to submit the project and you should receive an automatic email from Co-op Funding that your submission was successful. And then I will get notified that you have uploaded an application. At this time, we will take questions and comments from folks. If you're on Zoom, if you could use the raise hand feature, and we will call on you. If you're participating via phone, we ask that you do *9 to raise your hand, and once you're called upon, you can use *6 to mute and unmute your line. When you are called upon, please introduce yourself and if you are representing an organization. Do we have any questions? I am not seeing any raised hands at this time. Oh, now we have one. Carolina Loney.
Good morning. Can you guys hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Okay. My name is Carlina. I'm with the city of Fort Myers. This isn't necessarily with, I did take some notes, so this isn't like necessarily about the project itself. I was just wondering when the link would be posted so that I can share it with my team for this session.
As soon as this webinar is complete, it's being streamed on YouTube right now, and it will be on our YouTube channel. The link from our website will be a little longer because I have to go through my communications folk to say, hey, please redirect them from the registration link to the YouTube channel. But you could definitely go to SFWD TV on YouTube and find it.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Do we have any other questions, comments? Okay, well, I would like to thank everybody for your time and attendance this morning, and I would like to thank Robert and Adele for presenting as well.